Today on I Had to Ask, I talked with Dr. Steve, a pediatric neurosurgeon. Maybe this interview will give you some insight if you are considering the medical field. Steve?
Why, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dr. Steve. At least that's my name here at camp. I'm also called Dr. Stephen Thompson in the real world, where I practice pediatric neurology and neuro-oncology. I take care of children with neurologic diseases, headaches, seizures, things like that, head trauma, concussions. I also take care of children with brain tumors and other types of cancer.
Where did you go to medical school?
I went to medical school in New Jersey at New Jersey Medical School, was part of the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey when I was there, but that university has now been merged with Rutgers University.
Why did you decide to go to this school?
Going to New Jersey Medical School allowed me to get my training and education close to home and honestly at a more affordable state tuition at a location that I knew would offer me good clinical training with a variety of different patient populations. I had done some volunteer work there when I was in college, so I knew a little bit about what to expect and about the kinds of things I would get exposed to.
What's the best advice you've ever been given about being a doctor?
One of my mentors and teachers growing up in medical school, so to speak, growing up medically, always told me, take your time. Take your time and think, take your time and analyze. Haste makes waste. Always take your time. Obviously, there were times when you need to rush if a patient's in an emergency situation. But taking the time to think and considering all of the possibilities stops you or saves you from making a quick decision that might not necessarily be the best decision.
When you were a student, what advice do you wish someone would have given you?
The advice to take my time was always very important to me. I think if I had been told to trust my instincts and also told to take more time to relax and do some things for recreation, that would have been appreciated. Looking back, the thing that I miss would have been spending more time outdoors and doing some more fun things.
What inspires you?
I get my greatest inspiration from the smiles on children's faces. When I see a child smile, sometimes it can actually light up the whole room. It's as though there's a glow or a light coming from them. And children often come to me not smiling because they're sick, injured, or what have you, or their parents aren't smiling. So the inspiration is to do the best work I can to improve the life of another person. And if I can see that person smile because of one small thing I've done, then I know I've done the right work.
Who influenced you negatively or positively to be the person you are today? Please explain.
Really thinking back, my two greatest positive influences as a physician would have been my pediatrician growing up, who was my first inspiration, and the gentleman who I mentioned earlier who told me to always take my time to think things through, who taught me how to be a neurologist. He was a man of great intellect. He was not just a wonderful physician, he also was a very active birder. He liked to go outside and look at birds all around the world. He was a great traveler. Those are my two greatest positive inspirations. Negatively, I can't think of any one person who's been a negative inspiration or influence on me. However, I can say that anyone that I ever see who has a harshness or an edge to them in their attitude in approaching other human beings, whether it's medically or in the outside world, that I find to be a negative influence.
What moment in your career has stood out to you the most?
It's difficult to say what one thing really stood out. As I look back in my career, and I'm only about a half or two-thirds through my career now at this age, it becomes a blur. Multiple images of many different children in many different situations whose lives have been somehow improved by the work I've done with my colleagues. It becomes a blur. It's one conglomeration. It's all pieces of one big puzzle. When you look at a puzzle, it's very difficult to get the entire picture or a sense of what you're going to see from one small piece. But when you take a step back and look at it together, you get the true impact and the true meaning. So for me, I would rather say I can't answer that question directly, but say that it's been a collection of positive events.
Why do you do this job?
So why I do this job, that's a good question. Why do I do the job as a camp doctor where I'm called Dr. Steve, or my job at my regular work where I'm a pediatric neurologist? It's always the same answer. It's for the children. I do this job because I think I was put on this earth to improve the lives of other people, especially young people. And that's why I get up and do this work every single day.
Do you feel like you've made a lot of differences in people's lives?
I'd like to believe I've made a difference in people's lives, but I'd like to also believe that the work isn't done. There's more good work to do, and there's more learning to do so that I can be better at doing this work going forward.
If you could go back in time and give a younger you advice, what would you say?
To relax more, to trust myself more, to get outside more.
And if you had any advice for children thinking about becoming a doctor?
Follow your passion. If you truly believe that you want to care for other people, follow that passion. Learn as much as you can. Always be kind and chase your dreams. Don't ever give up. They are within reach.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
Cherish every single day. Always be kind to people and make sure that the people you love know it.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
I'd like to give Dr. Steve a special thank you for taking time out of his summer for me to interview him. I hope you liked today's I Had to Ask interview, where we dug deeper into the medical field. See you next time.